John and Michelle Senyard, good friends of mine, newlyweds from San Francisco who are now actually stranded on their honeymoon in Sri Lanka. Guys, how are you doing?
Good. We're actually calling it a supermoon now.
Yeah, a couple of my friends came up with that one. They're
Yeah.
pretty proud of it.
But yeah, we are doing well. We are based now in Walagama Beach, which is on the southern coast of Sri Lanka. And we've been here since March 17th. And the country is in the middle of a nationwide curfew. We are healthy and safe and just figuring out how to be two newlyweds in a foreign country.
You were both supposed to fly back to San Francisco 2 weeks ago. What happened?
Yeah, so our original flight was scheduled to leave out of Sri Lanka on March 26th through Singapore with Singapore Air. And I think it was like 2 days in to arriving in Sri Lanka, they canceled their flights. And I called Singapore Air and they tried to book us onto the next flight, but the next flight wasn't until May 2nd. So currently we do have a ticket for May 2nd, but I'm thinking that it's probably going to get pushed out.
So you're at least still another month away before being able to come back home.
There were other flights, and there still are other flights available. Qatar Air is still running the only flights leaving the country, but that flight would require us to fly from Colombo, Sri Lanka, to Qatar, to London Heathrow, to JFK, to San Francisco. So we're looking at over 45 hours of travel, multiple sleeping in airport layovers, through some of the kind of worst coronavirus infected cities. And I feel like our immune systems would just be crushed after going through all that.
Does part of you worry that could ultimately put you at risk for getting coronavirus?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
We have options. They're just not ideal and very expensive.
There are not any confirmed cases in the district we are now. And literally all of the airports that we would be flying through have reported very large numbers. I historically get sick every single time after traveling long hours. I think that's what really made our final decision, was that in terms of our health, we would definitely be more at risk.
Yeah.
Some might think, gosh, this is a dream, stuck on your honeymoon.
Yeah, and I think it was for the first about 12 days of our trip, we were actually staying at the Marriott, which was phenomenal. We had the pool, we had a suite with a balcony.
Really incredible staff taking care of us.
Yeah, buffet dinner and breakfast. But because of such low tourist capacity, they actually closed down the Marriott. So all major hotels on the southern coast are closed down, as are the boutique hotels.
So you were actually kicked out of your hotel?
Yeah. Yeah. So they were
completely shut down.
And thankfully we had met someone the day before who knows a hostel owner here. And so we connected to them through Instagram, and they're literally just letting us stay here.
What's life been like there in Sri Lanka during this pandemic?
It does take quite a long time to grocery shop here. The stores here are pretty limited and they're very small. And you kind of have to visit multiple locations to get everything that you need. The lines to get to these grocery stores are massive. I mean, we waited 5 hours in line a couple of days ago.
Part of that is because people are only allowed out at certain times.
Yeah, exactly. And so businesses are not allowed to operate. So if you have a local egg lady who is selling eggs, she is not allowed to sell those eggs outside of when curfew is.
How often are you able to actually go out and get stuff that you need?
So it's either a 6-hour window, an 8-hour window, or a
10-hour
window. 10-hour window.
Yeah.
How often do you get those windows?
Yeah, so they're every 3 to 5 days. So we just came out this morning. The curfew lifted for 8 hours, and that was after 3 days. When you actually get to the doors of a grocery store, there's a military person there.
A police.
Yeah, or military. I guess in a full general's suit. They're with hand sanitizer, and they make you wash your hands first, and then hand sanitize. And you can't even stand in line in front of the store if you don't have a face mask. So everyone in the store has a face mask, has been hand washed and hand sanitized. And they're only allowing a few people in at a time.
So that's another reason why it takes quite a while to get into the stores, because they're monitoring the number of people going in and out.
How are you feeling right now?
I think, I mean, we're learning quite a lot. We're newlyweds. So this is definitely the longest time that we've ever spent together.
Like 100% together all the time.
Yeah.
This is quite the introduction to married life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really learning how to be partners, not just emotionally, but with tasks as well. Apart from grocery shopping, we also have to spend a lot of time washing our vegetables here, and then cooking and shopping and doing the dishes, and that takes another 3 to 4 hours to do to create a meal together.
Everyone's living this new normal, but typically for most people, the new normal includes a lot of things that were part of your past. So when you go to the grocery store, it's the same food, you see the same neighbors, you can order out from the same restaurants in your neighborhood. Like there's a lot of kind of carryover or normalcy. Emotionally, one of the toughest things for us has just been that literally everything is different here. And we're both working remotely. And so we're working with teams that we are 12 and a half hours ahead of. So working late into the night.
I've been following a lot of your journey on social media. How does making some of these videos sort of help get through this emotionally?
Well, I will say we have definitely been laughing nonstop.
Oh yeah.
We have nothing to lose, and we have all this time on our hands. And so many people are out there making really funny stuff online. And so it's kind of crazy because I feel like we are inspired to make something fun for ourselves every day now. So, you know, I'll kind of like wake up in the morning and have an idea and share it with John, and then we'll noodle on that. So it's kind of like our own little creative, funny project every day.
Flight número 2.
You first took off for your honeymoon in early March. Was there a part of you at the time that thought, hey, maybe we shouldn't leave right now?
I think everybody else had that thought.
Yeah, both of our mothers would love the fact that you just asked that question.
But also, yeah, this is kind of like my mom's biggest I told you so moment, I would say, in her entire career as my mother. And this is definitely not what we anticipated at all. I mean, being able to be here is definitely still has been quite the adventure, and I'm choosing to be grateful for it.
Being in a brand new country in the midst of a pandemic, what has this been like for you emotionally?
It's definitely been a roller coaster. A couple of days ago, it was very scary, I think, for me, and overwhelming. We stood in line, like I was saying, to grocery shop for almost 6 hours in really brutal heat, and had to visit several different locations. We were walking around a lot. People were cutting in line. And after all of that, we came back to our hostel and then washed, cooked, cleaned, and then went right into our work schedule. So by the end of the day, I was totally burnt out. And, you know, the idea of having to do all that all over again, probably multiple times more in this month, was extremely overwhelming. You know, there are moments when I realize, like, man, I only have one person in this entire country who I can really lean on, and I don't want him to get sick. I don't want to get sick. And yeah, that can definitely be very overwhelming.
Have you had moments where you've just broken down emotionally thinking about all this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did a couple days ago. You know, it really just kind of comes down on you all at once sometimes. And I mean, we love to travel, but I think there is a point when, you know, the reality faces you of like something really, really bad could happen. There have been a lot of times where John has had to hold me and tell me, hey, we're going to be okay. And I don't totally believe him, but I kind of have to because I have no other choice.
John and Michelle Senyard on a prolonged honeymoon. I'm sure you will not soon forget. John and Michelle, be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Big Ad.
dad.